Boom. Hi there, my name is Steve Gearhart. This is the Unagi Observer. Sorry about that. I couldn't help myself. I found the mask and I had to do it. So anyway, if you couldn't figure out what today's theme is, it's going to be Halloween stuff, or scary stuff, spooky stuff, horror stuff. But before I get into it, there's probably a lot of stuff that you're going to want to watch. I'm going to recommend some things. They're not really reviews, just recommendations for, Halloween watching. And because it's COVID, you're probably not going out to that many parties or, that kind of a thing. So you're probably going to be binge watching a lot of stuff. Hopefully you'll watch some of the stuff I recommend. But in order to do that, you have to keep up your calories. You have to keep up your strength. A couple weeks ago, we did the fall preview, and over 9 hours of watching anime. And by the end of it, I was blind in one eye. I think I had a heart attack. Anyway, so you want to make sure that you're actually able to watch all this stuff. So you need to eat properly. So in order to do that, here's a little PSA, a little public service announcement on eating for binge watching. Enjoy. So I had to change walls because I thought my neighbors were gone, but they're still here and they tend to be loud. So I had to move to a different wall. Sorry about that. So let's start off with manga. So I got a couple recommendations here for you. We're going to start with Nanaba. And Nanaba is by Shigeru Mizuki. He's the guy who did Kitaro, if you're familiar with that anime. Anyway, Nanaba is an autobiographical kind of story of his childhood, semi-autobiographical, I should say, if I can say the word. Anyway, so Nanaba is really not a horror story. It is a monster story, a yokai story. And what this is about is about Shigeru Mizuki's childhood as he's being looked over by a nanny. And nannies at that time were called Nanabas. And this particular Nanaba had knowledge of yokai. So she tells him stories about different types of yokai, and he sort of takes these images in his head and he really believes in the yokai, and he sort of incorporates it into his everyday life. And it's kind of nice little, fun little manga to read. So give it a try. Kurosagi Corpse Service, one of my favorite mangas of all time. It's a little bit frustrating because the production of it is very stop and go. Sometimes you get a lot, sometimes you go like a year without getting a volume. So anyway, but the cool thing about it is that you can pretty much, whatever you find out there, you can start reading. You don't need to start reading from the very first get-go, because they actually put an explanation at the beginning of each volume as to who the characters are and what they can do. One is a dowser who can find dead bodies. One is a Lolita who does mortician sciences, which is unusual in Japan because they burn bodies there. They don't do what we do here. You have a guy who has a puppet on one hand that channels the spirit of a dead alien, who is also very foul-mouthed but funny. You have another woman in the group who is a kind of a hacker, really smart woman, and she's kind of the operations manager of the group, if you want to call her that. And then the de facto leader is this one guy named Karatsu, who is an actual Buddhist monk. They're all part of this club, college club, and they're all about to graduate from this Buddhist university. He's an actual monk, and he is able to channel the powers of it's unclear if it's a spirit or if it's an oni, and he's able to talk to dead people, and they tell them why they're trapped in the body and can't move on to the afterlife. So this group, who calls themselves the Kurosagi Corpse Service, helps dead people trapped inside their bodies to move on to the afterlife for a price. Some of the adventures are cool, some of them are funny, sentimental. There is gore, but I wouldn't call it goro. But a very entertaining read, so give it a try. The first live action movie I want to talk about actually comes from Korea. It's called The Piper. I saw this at Otaku. It disturbed me greatly, and I thought as a result of that being disturbed, I didn't like it, but really the movie did its job. It's supposed to disturb you. The Piper is based off of, it's a rip-off of European folklore of the Pied Piper. So if you know that story, that's basically what it's based on. Makes sense, right? Based on something that it's based on. Anyway, the story starts in Korea about 10 years, give or take, after the Korean conflict. And they're in the hinterlands, so to speak. It's this guy and his son. He's a general purpose handyman kind of guy, and he's looking for work, and he hears about this village, remote village, that needs help, repairing things and getting rid of vermin and stuff like that. A handyman job. So he gets there, and there is a rat problem, like a huge rat problem. And so he goes about to try to figure that out, as well as repairing stuff in the village and things like that. He and his son fit in, things go pretty well for them, and they decide that this could be home. There's a love interest, but there's the battle with the rats. So they have this big climactic battle with the rats, and at the end of it, the movie takes a really horrific, dark turn. I'm not going to spoil it for you. You're going to have to watch it, but I'm going to tell you at the end of it, you're going to be really skeeved out. And if you have a problem with rats, like if you have a real problem with rats, do not watch this movie. But if you don't mind things like that, and you like movies like Bang King of the Rats, if you've ever seen that, you'll know what I'm talking about. Then this is in your interest to watch. So this next one is a very oddball movie. I watched it years ago, and periodically I come back to it because there's always something new that I find in it. And it's considered a cyberpunk horror movie. It's called Tetsuo the Iron Man. It starts off with a guy trying to hammer pieces of metal into his leg. So we're talking about body horror. Body horror and also psychological horror. Because there's this couple that they kind of run somebody off the road and kill them and hide the body, and they do things, and it's not cool. And it all wraps together. It's very surrealistic. Like I said, there's a lot of body horror imagery on this. This borderlines on live action Goro. So, be aware of this stuff. It gets uncomfortable at times, but if that's what you like, then definitely watch this movie, and this will definitely fit into Halloween, especially if you are, like grotesque things. Okay, this last movie, also a Japanese movie like Tetsuo the Iron Man, is called Suicide Club. Moment of transparency here. I have not actually finished this movie. It bothers me greatly, and I can only, every time I watch it, I get a little bit further into the movie, and then I have to stop and put it away. And it's a hard movie to watch for me for some reason. But the premise is this. So, for some reason, groups of young people are doing mass suicide events. And before they kill themselves, they talk about how they are a member of the Suicide Club. And it's not one of those things where you kind of see them step off the building and off they go. You don't see what happens. You see the bodies fall all the way down and hit. And there's a very disturbing scene in the very first part of the movie where it is like second and third graders hand in hand walking into a subway and singing about the Suicide Club before they jump. And it's a very, very, very disturbing movie. Like I said, I have not been able to get through it. So if you want something that's going to make you go, this movie is for you. So the first anime I'm going to describe to you is called The Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. This series just started. It was part of the fall 2020 anime review that we did. It was part of the 9-hour binging that I did a couple weeks ago or a week or so ago. And it has all the horror elements. It has the traditional monsters, yokai, and things like that. And it has a princess, a damsel in distress, who is this young lady who's from this wonderful kingdom, and she's kidnapped by the evil demon king, and she's in this horrible castle, and she's in her cell, which is really not a bad cell, and she gets she likes the food that she's being served, and if only she could go to sleep. So she can't really go to sleep. There's something wrong with the pillow, there's something wrong with the sheets, the bed, too much noise. You get the idea. So she's able to trick these two demon teddy bears into giving her a key by doing something for them. It's kind of a weird ew factor. And she's able to have the run of the castle so that she can make her bed and be able to enjoy sleep. And so she does everything from defeating, not even defeating monsters, just as she's going along, things happen and the monsters are just like, why is she destroying the castle? What's going on here? And at one point she maims a ghost so she can have a proper blanket. Think about what I just said. So anyway, this is a really funny little anime. It's cute. It's not meant to be scary, but it's meant to be, filled with yokai monsters and funniness. And I hope you enjoy it. Okay, we're going to go from cute to psychological terror. And that is Perfect Blue. Many of you out there are probably like me, huge fan of that movie, huge fans of Satoru Kon. I can't speak enough of this movie. I got to actually, before COVID-19 hit, I actually got to see it in the theater. So that was pretty cool. It is about a J-pop singer in a part of a trio who decides to move on with her career and go into acting. She becomes an actress. And it just kind of shows her going from transitioning from that to this, and there's a lot of stress behind it. And she has, of course, fans, and some of those fans are not nice when she decides to go from being a J-pop idol to an actress. And she starts doing roles that are not very becoming of her. And so she's having a lot of trouble processing a lot of this stuff. She's not very smart. So things happen, and you wonder if she's actually seeing something, hallucinating it. Is what happening real? Is she the actual victim, or is she the actual killer? Is she, So there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and the visuals of this movie are just outstanding. And you're going to be on the edge of your seat trying to figure this out from beginning to end. And there's a great chase scene where you're just like going, oh my God, that's so messed up. So if you like psychological terror, good animation, good anime, watch Perfect Blue. This next anime even if you've never seen it before, you should know about it. It's called Helsing. And I mean the original OVA series that came out. I like that one better. I mean, it's not that I didn't like the Helsing where they're fighting the Nazis per se, but I like the first series better. The reason why I liked it was that for a good portion, I would say almost first half of the series, it's very gothic. It's very, if you like vampires, if you like gothic stuff, this is it. It doesn't go into really conspiracies until the second half of the series. It's still a good series though, watch the whole thing, but I'm saying if you want horror, gothic kind of feel to things, blood and, vampirism, watch the first half. Definitely watch the first half. Beautifully animated. There's some really interesting concepts, like how the police girl becomes a vampire. That whole episode is actually one of my favorite episodes in that series because it shows the turn of a priest. It shows, just like it's just a good vampire series, and it harkens back to some of the Hammer movies and things like that. So if you want a good gothic vampire story, watch the first half of Helsing. This last anime, called Midori, the only reason why I'm recommending it is because it's so unique and it's so different. But you have to first find it. There are two different versions out there. There's a cleaned up version, and then there's the original version. It's very Guro. If you're into Guro, then you know about Midori. If you're okay with body horror, with bad things happening in like very messily ways, like arms chopped off, eyeballs being licked and stuff like that, this is Guro. It's very hard to find, like I said, but if you do find it, it's a unique watch, and if you watch it once, you never ever have to watch it again. Not necessarily it's bad, I'm just saying that it is really different. There's really not a story to it. It's a bunch of imagery and music and sound, and you can kind of think that there's a story behind it, but really it's about disturbing imagery and sound and things like that. And it's animated in such a way that you're just like, I don't see this anywhere else. It is one of a kind. Literally, actually the movie was lost for about 20 years until it was found in somebody's basement, I think. And so it's been re-digitally mastered and so forth and so on. And I think a new complete version of it is supposed to come out by the end of this year. That's what I read. I don't know if that's going to happen. But if you can find it and you want something disturbing for Halloween to watch Midori and have a barf bag. You're going to need it. Puppies dispatched. Not even joking. Okay, so those are my recommendations for this Halloween. There's a ton of stuff out there. You don't have to take my recommendations, but if you want to watch anime, good horror anime, there's plenty to choose from out there. As a matter of fact, we watched Blood the Last Vampire. We're going to be doing Vampire Hunter D at Geek Archaeology, like we do every Saturday at 8 o'clock. We're going to get into that movie right on Halloween, actually. So come on by if you're not doing anything. Come by to Geek Archaeology, start watching there. We go into the weekly dig at 9 o'clock. So please join us. We have the chat function open, so put in your 2 cents, join us and have some fun. Other than that, if you are going out for Halloween, please be safe. And even if you just want to dress up at home, cosplay, or go into Frankenstein mode, whatever, that's always fun too. So enjoy yourselves this Halloween. Just remember that COVID-19 is still a thing, unfortunately. At least you'll be wearing a mask, I think, or you can at least incorporate a face mask as part of your costume, maybe. So, but seriously, please don't forget to wear a mask and social distance, because at some point I really would like to meet some of you out there who watch my videos, because I really appreciate it and I love you guys. And so have a great Halloween, happy Halloween, and I will see you all next time.